Okay, good morning to all. Today I am going to discuss about the chapter 4 memory system of computer system architecture. So in this chapter we have these are the articles we are going to what will be discussed: the memory characteristics, memory hierarchy, RAM and ROM organization, interleaved memory, cache memory and virtual memory. So first is your memory characteristics. Before going to the characteristics of the memory, what is the memory? Now memory is a location in computer which is used to store the data, and this is maybe the primary memory or main memory or secondary memory or auxiliary memory. So the memory is characterized by the following points. First is your location, as capacity, as unit of transfer, access methods, performance measure, physical type, retention characteristics. So these are the points which used to define the characteristics of the memory. So first is your location. So in the location, again there are three parts. One is your processor, internal memory and the external memory. Processor means the processor requires its own local memory in form of register. In the last class we have discussed that there are a number of registers are present and acts as a local memory for a processor. What do you mean by the local memory? Because everybody knows that there is a main memory and the external or the secondary memory. Local memory means the process when the processor starts its work or processing a job, it needs a number of the registers to store the data temporarily, because everybody knows that to access the data from the main memory it takes long time compared to access the data from the registers. That's why there are a number of registers are present within the processors and it acts as a local memory. Suppose you are going to calculate the value of c plus t, s equal to c plus t. That means you fetch the data c from the memory, d from the memory plus instruction from the memory. Clear? So it will take a long time to access or to fetch these operators and the operand both from the memory. So memory, what will do na, memory sends the data A and B. As soon as it receives the data from the external environment or from the user, it sends that copies to the registers which are placed within the processor. Processor access that data and instruction from the register and starts the process. Now after the calculation or after the processing is completed, the result taken back to a small register, then the data will transfer from the register to the memory. So that is the phenomenon we'll discuss in the next. Next is internal memory. The internal memory often equated with main memory. Obviously everybody knows that main memory acts as a internal memory, and the external memory means memory is external to the computer. It consists of peripheral storage devices. Peripheral storage devices means memories are that means when you use the external hard disks or the pen drive, these are the memories are used to connect it as externally to the computer system. So these are the internal, external and the processor. That's the location. Next is as the capacity. The capacity can define the memory through word length and number of the word. So let's discuss what is the word length. The length of the word is equal to the number of bits used to represent a number. The length of the word is equal to the number of bits. That means how much bits is required to represent a number. Suppose you are using 5 is a number and you convert it to a binary number, and again according to the capacity of the register 8 bit, 16, 32 bit or 64 bit, then it will be transferred into that capacity, that means 8 bit or 16 bit. So net count how much bits is required to represent a number. Suppose there is a 2, its binary conversion is how much? Binary conversion is 1 and 0, right? 1 and 0, but this is a 2 bit. Suppose you convert into the 8-bit register as 8-bit register. That means 6 zeros that we added in the before the 1. So total 8-bit now is used to represent the number 2. So that is the length of the word. How much bits is required to represent a number. Next is your number of word. How many number of word can transfer or store in the memory represents the capacity of the memory. Now how many number of word can transfer? That means at a time how many number of words can transfer store in the memory, which represents the capacity of the memory. Number of the word. Word length is the number of bits represent a number. Number of words means that means number of the bits are present in a computer in the memory system. So to word, that means the number of words means that means suppose 2, 3, 4, 5, the number of are stored in the memory, and you calculate as the bits in the, when you convert into the bits form, you store the length of the word, and the number of the word can transfer to store in the memory. That is to denote the capacity of the memory. Next is your units of transfer. This word, when in a single data transfer, the memory unit transfer 1 word of data, then the unit of transfer is word. In internal memory, the unit of transfer is word byte. That is the unit of transfer, how much data will transfer at a time. So that will be in the two form. One is a word, another one is the block. Generally in internal memory, the unit of transfer is word, but in case of the external memory, the data will transfer as a block. When a block of data transfers occurs at a time, the unit of transfer is block, and this is generally used for the external memory. Next is your access method. Now in the access method, memory access method are divided into the following types: sequential access, random access, direct access, and associative access. First is your sequential access. In sequential access, in this method, the memory is accessed in a specific linear sequential manner, like accessing in a single linked list. That means all the data stored in a sequential manner, and your access or memory is accessed in a specific linear sequential manner. Example is your linked list. All the data is accessed sequentially. That means suppose you want to access the data in the location of the 50, that means it will not directly access, or the control is not directly moved to the location 50. It starts from 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, then moves towards 50. Similarly, suppose you are access the data in the 100 location, that means again the control starts from the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then move towards the 100. That is the sequential manner. Next is your random access. In this method, any location of the memory can be accessed randomly, like accessing an array. Physical location are independent in this access method. So randomly, that means you can access the data in the random manner. That means example is an array. Suppose you want to access the data, the 5th location of the array. That means you can randomly access that 5th location of this array and to retrieve the data. Next is your direct access. Direct access is the combination of the above two processes, sequential and the random. It is the direct. In this method is a combination above two access methods. In this method, the particular location of the memory can be accessed directly, like accessing an array. Right now in the array, write the program in C. Suppose you want to access the direct location from the array, then you can access the data from that location directly. So that is known as the direct access methods. Next is associative access. In this memory, what is accessed rather than its address. This access method is special type of random access method. Application of this type of memory is cache memory. So in this memory, what is accessed rather its address. It method special random. It directly what is accessed through this method. This associative example is the cache memory. Right now in cache memory, the data is generally accessed through this associative access method by the processors. So these are the access methods. So in the next class, we are going to discuss the other articles. Okay, thank you.